Welcome everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my current Victorinox collection as of December 23rd, 2023. So, let's get into it. What all do I have? What do I like? Why did I buy the stuff that I bought? Because I don't buy willy-nilly. I don't have unlimited money, so when I get something stored up, I make a choice. What do I want? Why do I want it? We'll get into that. Starting off with probably my most carried thing, my Victorinox Swisstool X with ratchet, bit kit, etc. All comes in this nice leather pouch, which really needs a thorough dust removal. But we have these nice big compartments here. This is the original sheath, from going on almost 2 years ago. We're at like 1 year and 11 months of me carrying this on my hip, like every single day except 3. I have worn this thing a lot. You can see the leather has bent to my belt that I carry. We'll get into all the little details once I show all of my collection here, but we'll just pop this stuff back in for the moment. Set that off to the side. Nice big tool. Next knife I had, actually I got this before that, but we're not going in order necessarily here. And as my Victorinox Swisschamp black scales. I love this knife. This thing is a beast of a knife. It's a lot to carry in the pocket. It's best to have a pouch for it. I have some options that I've made for myself, but this is like the ultimate camp knife. This is Victorinox's like number 1, number 2 selling knife of like their large pocket knives. This is what Victorinox is known for, having so many different things. You got the main blade, got the saw, you got the well-renowned fish scaler, you've got the big spring here. Oh, and before I forget it, I was talking about the Farmer X in a previous video, and someone mentioned that these were on separate springs, and I thought that they was on one spring, but it turns out that they are on 2, but there's, without having the liner in between them like all the other tools have, they don't have that same snap closed function that the other tools have. The other tools kind of pop down pretty nicely, but those two sharing the same space between liners, I think kind of slows them down. But I love that knife. This thing has been fantastic for me. Now, reason why I have a deluxe tinker instead of a super tinker is I started with a super tinker. My first, like real Swiss Army knife that I picked out and I got was the super tinker. Then over time I realized, oh hey, we have one with pliers. And these are really, really nice pliers. So I gave my dad my super tinker, and I got this. Got the deluxe tinker. Really, really good knife. Now the reason why a lot of my knives have this short lanyard here is so that I can grab that with my hand and open the knife with more ease. It's just nice to have that. Really good knife. Next to the newest of the knives in my collection is the Farmer X, which is basically a super tinker or deluxe tinker without the pliers, swap it for a saw and aluminum scales, and 93 millimeters instead of 91 millimeters long. It makes a little bit of a difference. Excuse me for just one moment. But I like this knife because the blade is larger and thicker than the average Swiss Army knife. A little bit bigger, a little bit thicker. Can handle more abuse. I like having the side awl instead of the bottom awl. I like not having the tools at the bottom, although I do like having tools on the bottom of the knife. But not having them is a surprisingly refreshing change of pace. and I like the full aluminum scales. So that's the large stuff. Now we get into the three of my smallest bits here. We have the minichamp classic SD with the light and the pin, and then the rambler. So we have a lot of Victorinox stuff to work with here. We'll set that to the side, pop that here. This is my current Victorinox collection as of the end, close to the end of 2023. I love all of these knives. They're all fantastic. And now let's delve into what each one has. Get a little rambly here. We're going to start with the rambler. Newest knife in my collection is this guy. The main reason why I got this is I have a gap in my teeth that gets food stuck in it quite regularly, and I need a toothpick. This has the toothpick. I also like having the little tools here, but for those of you that know my channel and know what stuff I carry, I usually carry a full-size multi-tool, 2 Knipex pliers, a full-size single-blade pocket knife, and sometimes 2 multi-tools, depending on if I need to be doing a lot of stuff that day. So, do I need to be carrying a large 91mm Swiss Army knife in my pocket just for the toothpick? No. So, this is my toothpick if I want to go slim, although I do usually just bulk up and go with everything. One, as people say with knives in the woods, 2 is 1, 1 is none. When you got 5 in your pocket, you're going to do pretty good. But what this is, what the Rambler is a classic SD with an extra tool added, and that extra tool being the Phillips driver, stripper, and cap lift combo tool. This thing is a beast of a little tool for these little knives, and been handy on way more than one occasion for me when I carry the minichamp. It's just a good small Phillips to have. I love the tool set on this. It's not overbearing. It's about the same thickness as the alox minichamp because of the plastic Celador scales. And it has less tools, which makes it a little less functional, but you gotta have a bunch of Swiss Army knives. You gotta go full MacGyver here. And I want to get the MacGyver Tinker Small, the 84mm one, because that's the one that he supposedly carries in the show more often than not. It doesn't look like the kind of knife that I would necessarily carry, but I would like to have that in my collection. So, looking around for a Victorinox Tinker Small. I have my eyes on a couple different ones. You may see that pop up on the channel as time goes. But I love all 3 of these knives. I use a bunch of the various tools here. I call this one the cuticle pusher. It's basically just a tough fingernail. If you've got a tool or something that you want to get out and you don't want to bust a fingernail to get it out, you do that. Now, none of the tools on here are stiff enough to bust a fingernail, but I've ran into knives, and I'm sure you all have, where it's like you're going to pop a fingernail trying to get that thing out. That is a good fingernail to use, so to speak, fingernail. But all the little tools here, we have the little knife blade, we have the nail file that does not have the flathead on the end. This is just the nail cleaner version. That's the knife. Most of the time when you see the nail file, it has the flathead at the tip. This one has the pointy bit at the tip. Have the cuticle pusher, have the ruler with the flathead driver on it. Nothing on the other side. We have the little package opener, although supposedly back in the days when you had pill bottles that had the foam in the top, or the little cotton ball in the top, you pop the lid off and you stick that in and pull out the cotton ball foam stuff that was inside. But one side of this tool has a bunch of usability here. We have several different tools, to choose from. a great every time a great selection of stuff to work with. Let's see if I can get a little contrast here using my Mighty Hanks handkerchief. You can see that's just the stuff on one side of this tool here. A bunch of stuff to choose from. We close that down. Go to the other side, which only has 3 tools, but these 3 are just as handy as the rest. We have the large knife blade on here. We have the Phillips driver combo tool, and we have the scissors. That is all packed in this little keychain sized multi-tool. They all snap in quite nicely. They're durable. Now, don't go trying to pry open bricks or stuff with this knife. That's just stupidity. Go get a chisel. But for the average everyday person, the minichamp, I highly recommend getting that. This, that granted, has less usability than the minichamp, but it has the crash course basics that one would need just on those 4 tools alone. This other knife I don't carry. I leave in a little tin of, not manicure, but my nail trimmers and stuff that I keep. And if I gotta, go on a trip or something, I take the little box with me, and this tags along. And this is my lucky Irish green Victorinox, and I'll explain the story of how I got this. These 2 I have bought with my own money. This one I found. And I found this one like 15 years ago. I found this. If you guys have seen the video, you already know. But for those of you that have not seen the video, I found this under a hotel bed in around Cave City, Kentucky, at a hotel that was closer to Kentucky Down Under, where we was staying that one time. And I found this under the bed. We asked the receptionist. They're like, no one said anything was missing. And so I got to keep this, and I have just kept it and used it. I've replaced a pin a few times down the road because I go through the pin a little bit here and there. But this is just like my first Swiss Army knife that I got that I knew was Victorinox. Didn't buy it. This even predates my Super Tinker that I got. And as you can tell from the knife blade, I have worn this sucker down. I have abused this knife, making so many fuzz sticks out in the woods, doing like small camp bushcraft stuff. But this knife sits in a little Altoids tin, and it's a tin. Where is it? Here we go. You go to Cracker Barrel and you get these little mints, and you open it up, and this little guy fits in just perfectly. And then you can get like a small pair. Let me just go ahead and get the tin, proper tin for it. Here we go. If you're looking for Altoid tin knickknacks, go to Cracker Barrel, and at the cash register usually, you'll see several different colors of these wintergreen mints. Just get a couple of those tins, because these are fantastic for holding stuff. But I've got this yellow tin here with the maple flavored mints, and I have spare pins inside for this guy, and I just pop him in the side. I take these little nail trimmers here, kind of an unknown brand name, just got them for like VIA exclamation point, exclamation mark. I don't know if any of you know that brand. I got it for $1 at a dollar store, but these are the best little nail trimmers I've ever come across. If you find one of these, buy a couple. They're good. But I got a Nitize S-Beaner on here more so I can pull it out of the tin. And this is my day-to-day nail trimmer. I have this by my bed. Got to trim my nails. It's there. But that just tucks right down inside. I've got these slightly heavier duty tweezers that came with the nail trimmers. Those just lay across the board like that. And I close the tin up, and I've got a nice little travel, manicure kit. So that's just something to consider if you want a little tin to throw a Swiss Army knife in and it fits almost perfectly. Consider the Cracker Barrel mint tins. Find them close to the registers, at the registers in Cracker Barrel. Those little guys, fantastic. And the mints are pretty good too. They're good quality mints. I like them. So every time you swing by a Cracker Barrel, got to buy one of those because you can't have too many tins. But yeah, this little guy will stay at home unless I'm traveling and I just take this whole kit with me. So just a great little thing to have nearby. This guy rides on my keychain almost every single day. There's days where I don't take it, but I usually pair it up with the Rovivon Aurora A3. Great little flashlight to have, and put that with my keys on a separate keychain so that I can take one off without taking the others. But great little knife to have. And this one's just going to be a throwdown in the pocket, more for the toothpick, but you can never have too many scissors on hand, or if someone says can I borrow a knife, you let them borrow this one. So with that said, we'll put those to the side. The Farmer X, I love this knife a lot. The bulkier flathead here is fantastic. I have used that a little bit already. It is holding up nicely. It's chunkier, it's thicker. It does the job way more aggressively. Can opener is the same size, but like I showed you earlier, the knife blade is chunkier, which makes for a good bushcraft camp task knife. Scissors, because again, Victorinox scissors, cannot have too many scissors. Love their scissors. A saw, because the only other tools that have a saw is my Swisschamp here and my Swiss tool. I don't have a saw on any of the other stuff, and I am gaining favor with the saws. I am liking the saws a little bit more. I was kind of I don't want a saw on my multi-tool kind of guy, and I even, dealt with a lot of wood a lot, and just, I'm turning around to the saw. I'm liking the saws. It's growing on me. And then the reamer punch all kind of combo here, really nice. I'm loving it. It's a good scraper. It'll be a good package opener. Open up those clamshell packages. Just really nice. You can throw sparks with it if you got a ferro rod. Great knife. I love the alox because I kind of wanted a combo here. Have a large and a small alox to work with. That's also kind of a thing here. I have a pair, large and small in the red. Now I just need to get like a classic SD in black or something to go with this guy. Kind of pair him up a little bit. Get some color themes going. But got those because of alox. Really liking the alox. The deluxe tinker is rather self-explanatory. I do some tinkering, and the pliers are just some good things that do more than your fingers can. They get in tighter spots than your fingers. They can even do small nuts and bolts. They're not as good as a pair of Knipex, and I carry on me every day 2 Knipex pliers. These are the 5-inch versions. I have the 5-inch pliers wrench and the 5-inch Cobra water pump pliers. These are my chunky heavy-duty pliers. And also I carry pliers because how many times do you run into a nut and a bolt combination where the multi-tool does one end here, but you got to have something to hold the other end down. So having a spare plier is really nice. But this is more just to do what my fingers can't do in tighter spots. It's just really nice to have. The scissors I have worn down. I really probably need to send this into Victorinox and have them fix the scissors, because as you can see, they stick a little bit, but they still cut. I probably just want to keep it like that forever because I'm just too lazy to send them in. But tweezers I have used a lot. The toothpick I've used a lot. This has just been a beautiful knife for me. If I had to pick one Victorinox to go with as my Swiss Army knife of choice at the moment, unless they release a new model in the future, at the moment, my knife of choice would probably be the Deluxe Tinker. Even though it does not have a saw, does not have some of the other stuff, it's just a good all-around package. I love having the spare knife blade to do smaller tasks with. Really nice. The Swisschamp, I bought it a bit at first because it was just kind of a gimmick to me, but the more I used it, the more I appreciate how everything is laid out in this tool, how they all function, the choice of tools that they provided. Because even the renowned fish scaler tool, it's not useless to me because I work with paracord a lot and I find it useful to have that little V here at the tip to just like hold the paracord on something and push it deeper through something that a normal all needle would not be able to function with. This little guy right here, need to clean that out better. There we go. You see how it has the hole punch sewing needle little loopy there. It does a good job. And also the parcel hook, I use the parcel hook. That is a tool I use. I know Zach in the wild doesn't find a lot of use for it, but I find a surprising amount of use for the parcel hook. I like to buy the fire ant tinder so that I can have the little screwdriver and the tinder together. I know there's the ferro rod extensions and stuff, but I like having the little eyeglass screwdriver on hand. That has just been a surprisingly handy little bit to have, and I do not wear glasses. The pen, I have used the pen regularly. This is still the original pen, but I use it enough that it's handy to have. It probably needs to be replaced pretty soon. The inline Phillips driver, really nice to have. This is just a well-engineered piece of equipment. I love this thing. If you're ever considering getting one, get one. If you're not a carry and pocket person, I recommend getting a pouch for it. Victorinox sells some belt pouches that will fit this. Consider getting one or get one made by aftermarket craftsman. Just look around, you'll find stuff. But for me, I usually have cargo pants, and that just goes down in the cargo pocket delightfully well, no hassle. So the last little bit in my collection, the Victorinox Swiss Tool X. Big chunky tank of a tool here. Carried it like every day for the last 2 years except 3, where I forgot to put it on in the morning due to reasons I forget why. But this thing is delightful. The blade is a little skinnier than that of the Farmer X, little skinnier this way, but it's maybe actually a little bit thinner than the Farmer X. Farmer X has about the beefiest blade of any of the normal stuff that does not go into like the jumbo Swiss Army knives that they sell, the 111 millimeter ones. But you got the knife blade, you got the crate opener here, fantastic thick flathead to just do a lot of heavy prying with. We have the chisel and wire strippers here. Now this one was a V originally, but the V chipped on me, so I just took a rat tail file and rounded it down into the piece that you see today. But I have sharpened the chisel a few times. Great little scraper to have, wonderful to have. Larger flathead driver with the wire stripper. Just a big flathead to turn screws, nothing fancy. That's probably my least used tool on here. Can opener, I've used a fair bit opening cans. It's the can opener, what's there to say? Victorinox can opener. The saw I have used a little bit, good to have. The file, a surprisingly well-loved tool on my multi-tool. Love this thing. The 3-sided thing that it has is just delightful. The mini flathead almost hole punch has been used quite a bit. The Phillips driver has been a great thing to have. I've been using that lately. I've used it to fix the oven and where I live. That's just a well-made Phillips driver. The Victorinox knew what they was doing when they made this. They hit the ball out of the park with that tool. The actual hole punch, been used a little bit, kind of chipped the end a little bit there. Need to sharpen that down, but delightful. And large scissors, still in good shape, because I usually, been using my knife scissors rather than the multi-tool scissors. Large flathead, or large pliers here. I like that they're not extremely long needle nose pliers. I like that they're a little bit more, almost a normal pair of plier heads here. I wish the wire cutters were longer, but that doesn't bug me too much. I use that quite a lot. Now, people complain about the plier head wiggle that we have here, but Victorinox actually has that for a reason. And the reason being is when you go to, I forget if it was to tighten or loosen the nuts or bolts when you're reaching square on, like you got your nut there, you can reach down on it and you go like that. It's so that the tool, when you go to loosen it, I think, it closes on itself and keeps from prying apart, and it actually extends the life of the plier head. The other tools don't really do that, like on Leatherman and stuff. They don't think about that, and it can kind of damage your plier heads when you're trying to go square on something. Whereas these, having the wider heads, just gets on there and then holds better. So that's just something to consider. That's not a flaw in the multi-tool. That is an actual design choice. Getting into the accoutrements here, we have the corkscrew that you can slide in like so on the side and pop open your wine bottles if you have one. Bit extender, and then the straight-on ratchet. They do sell the one piece that's bent over at a 90 here, and you can see how that would loop over into the holder here with the little notch at the top. But that just clicks in. It comes with 4 or 6 bolts. It's been so long I forget. But it gives you room to add bits that you would use on a regular basis. And the bits that they supply you are not duplicates of what's inside the tool. Because how many times do you get a multi-tool and it's got like 3 flatheads inside, and the bit kit that it comes with has like 6 flatheads, and it's like, I don't need more flatheads. I need more unusual tools. Well, Victorinox thought a step ahead, and they didn't double back on how many duplicates they gave you. So I like how that was done. About the only thing I don't like about their tool, and you cannot really do it on this part of this ratchet because of it being clear through, but with the closed off ends here, I wish that instead of the pressure tension ring running through, that they would just do a magnetic detent for the bits, but that's just personal preference for me. But those all just slip down there quite nicely. Throw the tool in. It's a lot to carry on your belt, and if you're not a belt carry person, this isn't for you. But I have carried that every day for almost 2 years now. I love the Swisstool X. I might one day get the Swisstool Spirit X, some of those weird tools, but I am just loving the toolbox that this thing is. So, I believe that sums up my Victorinox collection of interesting little knives that I have. Bring out the little guy over here. Oh, I am way off camera there. Sorry about that, people. Way off camera. But that is my current collection of Victorinox as of December 23rd, 2023. Thank you for watching this long, rambly video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. I hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And until the next time, a farewell, carry well, and a bye-bye.